notwithstanding, what we are going to discuss, we'll start from the first one here. Now, if we have this is 4c minus 9 equals to 13. 4c minus 9 equals to 13. So when you have this like this now, what you just need to do is for you to solve for c. So if we're solving for c, we're going to have it this way. So it's going to be 4c, which is equal to 13 plus 9. Why is that plus? I'm taking this 9 to this guy, to the other side there, which is the right-hand side. So once you do that, if it is negative 9 and it is crossing the equality sign to change to plus positive, then if it is positive 9 and it is going into the what? Negative. So that is why you see that this one here is plus 9, because this is negative 9. So from here, you are going to have 4c, which is equal to 13 plus 9. And 13 plus 9 now will give us 22. Will give us what? 22. So from here, remember we are looking for c. So we are going to divide both sides by the coefficient of c. And what is the coefficient of c is what? It's 4. So we divide this side by 4. We also divide this side by 4. So this one we cancel out with this. So from here, our c will give us this. So when you divide 22 divided by 4, it will give us 5.5. It will give us 5.5. I hope that is taken. Do we understand this? So notwithstanding, another way you can also solve for this is this. For instance, now you have 4c minus 19 equals to 13. You can use what we call balance method. Since it's IGCSE, you can use what we call balance method. This one method I use there is called the alternative method. So in the case of the balance method, I'm going to get 4c minus 9. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. Why did I add 9 to both sides? Because this is negative 9. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. So which is this? So what we are going to have in this case, this will go out. So we are going to have 4c, which is equal to 13 plus 9, which is 22. So you divide both sides by the coefficient of c, which is 4. 4. This one will cancel this. So our c here will give us what? 5.5. Do we understand the two methods I've given you? So any method you use here will give you your correct answer. Any question, please? Okay, no question. So what we are going to have, the next one we're asked to do is this: work out this. We are asked to work out this. Now, how do we work out this now? What you just need to do here is what? You add this, the numerator together. So if you pick your calculator up, can you pick your calculator up? Now, if you pick your calculator, add 16.71 plus it with 46.13. If you do that, I think it will give us 62.84. That is with my calculator. This is what I have here. Now, you divide it by the square root of 8.6 square minus 3.5 square. So when you do the square root of this, of 8, you have to press your calculator with that. When you do that, it will give you an answer, which is 7.855. That is from my own calculator here. This is what I have. So from here, you will now divide this together. So when you divide this now, it's going to give us 7.999. The number is a continuous number. It's still continuing, but we're going to stop at this point. So what we have here is going to give us, now, this is the answer we have. But from the instruction, we are asked to write it to these two significant figures. So since we're asked to write to two significant figures now, to two significant figure is going to be on 9. So if it's on 9 now, we add here to be 1 plus 1 plus 1 here, because this is a round-up number. So when you add it, it becomes 10. And you're not going to write 7.10. It's wrong. So you are going to write 0 there, carry 1 to this place there, which will now become here as what? 8.0. So if you look at this now, if you solve this here, what you are going to have to two significant figure is going to give us 8.0. So are we following now? So what you just need to do here basically is what? Add the numerator together, which is this. Then take the square root of the denominator, 8.6 square minus 3.5 square, which will give us this. So from here, we have 7.999. So if we have 7.999 now, which will give us what now? 8.0. Are we following? Are we following? So that is why we have this. So for question number 3, is this. In the USA, 1 gallon of fuel costs this. 1 gallon of fuel costs this. In the UK, 1 liter of fuel costs this. Then the exchange rate is $1, 1 pound. 1 pound equals what? $1. That is what? $1.215. So a 1 gallon is equal to 3.785 liters. So all what you just need to do here, we are going to solve for few things here. Let's start with the UK. Let's start with the UK. Now, for the UK, we know that 1 liter. We know that 1 liter is equal to what? If you check very well, 1 liter in UK is equal to 1.62 pounds. That is 1 liter now. Look at it here. It's in the statement here. 1 liter is of what costs this. So in UK, we know that 1 liter is equal to 1.62 pounds. That is in UK. So from here, and I'm going to do some things here. And we know that, let me do a little conversion here before we continue. And we know that 1.62 pounds now will give us what now? Will give us what? In dollars. I need to make the conversion. So, and I'm going to do this by saying that will give us 1.62 times it by 1.615. So if you look at this now, multiply this by this, and I think when you do 1.62 times it by 1.215, it's going to give us this, which is when you multiply, it will give you 1.9683 in dollars. So I have converted the 1.62 pound to dollars now. And why did I multiply that? I use this exchange rate to do that. And the exchange rate states what? 1 pound is equal to $1.215. So down 1.62 pound now gives us this. That is what I have done here. So I have gotten the 1.62 in pounds. So 1 liter now is equal to this, and that will give us in dollars now. It will give us the answer we just have, which is 1.9683, which will give us 9.9683. Now, this is for this. The next thing we need to get, let's look at the next one now, which is what? 1 gallon now. Let's look at 1 gallon. We know that 1 gallon is equal to what? 1 gallon is equal to, look at it here, 1 gallon is equal to 3.785 liters. 3.758 liters. That is 1 gallon. So if 1 gallon is equal to this, then what will now give us, how many gallon now will give us 1 liter? Will give us 1 liter now. So 1 liter now will give us 1 over 3.785 gallon. So that is what this one will give us. So from here, I can now say that 1 liter, I can now say that 1 liter is equal to, 1 liter now will be equal to 4.83 divided by the what now? This, which is what? 3.785. So by the time you do that now, we're going to have this. When you divide, now class, can you divide 4.83 divided by 3.785 for me? I want to get 1 liter. That is why I'm doing this now. So when you divide this, you are going to have 1.2761. This is what you are going to have. So this is what you are going to have. So we have this now, which is 1.2761 in what? In dollars. So 1 liter now, because if you look at the question says, in which country does 1 liter of fuel cost more? So we are dealing with 1 liter of fuel. So 1 liter of fuel now costs this. Now in UK, 1 liter costs this amount. 1 liter costs this amount in UK. Now in the USA now, 1 liter costs this amount. That is in USA now. So if in USA 1 liter costs this amount, so for us now, what we just need to get now is what? What did I say? We should find in which country does 1 liter of fuel cost more? In which country? So if you compare these two answers we have gotten here, in which country now does it cost more now? Is what? In UK. So first, what you put here, it costs more in UK. And the question says, we have gotten here. In which country now does it cost more now? Is what? In UK. So first, what you put here, it costs more in UK. And the question says, by how much? So you need to find the how much it costs. So if you want to find it by the how much it costs, so what you just need to do is what? You subtract. So if you subtract, I have 1.9683 minus it from 1.2761. So by the time you do that, it will now give us this, which is 0.69, which will give us 0.69 as our answer that we have here. So if you look at it now, we already know from these two answers we have gotten, we already know that it's the 1 liter of fuel costs more in UK. But by how much? By how much simply means you have to take it, subtract them. So when you subtract them now, you are going to have 0.69. So by how much this will cost now, it's going to be what now? It will be by $0.69. That is how much it will be cost more. Do we have any question, please? Any question?
A lot, and you're like, okay, do you have a private tuition? Don't you have? Do you have? And yes, Ajiro Tech do have a private tuition. So by my right, you can see that we have for the Edexcel and Cambridge IGCSE, and yes, we do have for all subjects. Okay, all subjects. Okay, the popular ones that's always been in demand is mathematics, English language as a second language. Okay, we have physics, we have biology, we have chemistry, and we have the flagship, which is ICT, just here and there. We also have business studies. So if you're interested for a private tuition, I think all you have to do is send an email to the sales team at ajirotech@gmail.com, and they would reply to you, talk about your time zone, talk about and the fee is really quite affordable. Really, it's really quite affordable. It's when you look at it across other tutoring service, I think this is the one that's quite affordable, and you get the very best of service. We also have for the E-levels as well, and also for the Edexcel. So we have for the Cambridge E-levels and Edexcel E-levels. Okay, and we have also across the subject mathematics, which is usually the hot cake when it comes to E-level, mathematics and chemistry, and then biology. These are usually one of the ones we have in demand always, all the time, even physics, for E-level. So all you have to do, if you're watching this right now and you are interested for a private tuition, then you can do yourself a solid, okay, and send an email to the sales team at ajiro@gmail.com, and they will reply to you.
Good. So we have this now. So I'm going to reduce this a little because I'll have a lot of things so that the questions are under. Now, the first question here is this. The first question here is this. Now, if you can see the question properly, if you can see it, indicate please. Now, the first one says, describe fully the single transformation that maps shape A onto shape B. Now, if you look at this shape A here, onto what? Shape B. Now, what has happened there is what? It's simply translation. Shape A onto this shape B here is simply translation. So from this shape to this shape here, that is simply translation there. Now, and since we have translation, the first one they say we should describe, we already know that it is what? First one is what? Translation. So you have to write by saying it is translation. Writing this translation alone, you have gotten a mark there. I hope that is taken. You have gotten a mark that is what? Is translation. So writing that translation, you have gotten a mark. So it's very important. Then you need to describe what kind of translate, how does it translate? If you watch very well now, let's take this point. I'm taking this point now, which is the up point here. So I'm going to do it this way, which is you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 6 to your right. And 6 to your right now is positive. It's not to the left. So whenever is what? Whenever is to your right is what? Is positive. So when it's going to your right is positive. So the translation that happened there is going to be 6 to your right, which is positive. Now it's coming down. It's coming down now. That is going to be what now? 3. So it's, I think it's this way. Since we're taking this point, we should still be going. We're not going to end it there because this point corresponds to this point here. This point here corresponds to this. So when you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the next one will be 7, 8. So that means we have it as 8. We have it as 8 to your right, which is positive. Then down 1, 2, 3. Now, since it's coming down this way, it should be what? Negative, which is what? -3. So this is the translation that it happened there. So let me come again. Let me explain it again. So you are going to do it this way. Here is 8. Sorry. This place is 8. So I have 8 here because the number of times I'm taking this point, the first point here, and this point. So when you are moving it now, I'm coming again. Let me explain that again. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 8 to your right. Now, how many down now is what? 1, 2, 3. That is 3 down. So that is why it's negative. But I want to say something. What if you move to your left? Left now is negative. Then up is positive. These are the two things you need to know. Very, very important. So just know this. Like now, if it's to this place like this, let me draw this here so that you'll be using this as a guide that will help you. If you are moving to this place like this, is positive. That is if it is your S, that is positive. That is you are moving on the horizontal axis. Moving like this is positive. Now, moving like this horizontally, that is if you are still dealing with horizontal level. If you are still dealing with horizontal level now, moving like this here is what? Is negative. Horizontal. Then vertically up is positive. Then down is negative. You can see this arrow here. This is how you are going to just do this. So this are for horizontal level. This one are for what? The vertical level, the vertical movement. So take note about those movements and you will not have any thing at all to worry about. Thank you. Now, let's look at this one. Shape A to shape C. Shape A onto shape C. And I want to explain this. Where is shape A? Look at shape A onto shape C. Now, if you notice properly, you will see that this is pure rotation. You will see that this is what? Pure rotation. I hope that is taken on. You see that this is pure. Another thing you need to Thank you so much, sir. So from here, I have this. You join this guy up. You join this guy up. You join this guy up. Then you also join this up. You also join this up. Then you also join this up. This my line is not straight. Manage this line for now. You also join this up. So this is the shape. I can call this A prime. So this is what you have here. Okay. So this is what we have at this point. So I just translate this shape now to this. So I just translate this to this shape now. So which is this? So if you clearly watch the question on the grid, draw the image of A after a reflection in the line S equals to -2. So first of all, draw a line. Go to S equals to -2. Draw a line. That line should be your reference point. It's like your mirror point. That line should be your mirror point. So in that mirror point, it's like when you place your mirror there and you reflect this A to the other side. You know it will fall at the other side there. That is what is happening there. This is the shape, which is A. So when you reflect it to the other side, this is what we have there. So we are counting from here. 1, 2. That is 2. Count from here again. 1, 2. That is why we have this. Thank you so much. Any question there? So that is the question this we have just finished solving. Any question? If you have any questions, you can ask, put up your question so that we can discuss it. All right. Let's continue with this. Now, question number 5 now. For this question 5, we are given 1, 8, 27, 64, and 125. Now, who can tell me what do you understand about what we have seen here? What pattern is there? You need to think very well. Is anybody who can tell me about the pattern? Okay. Now, the pattern here is simple. You agree with me that it's just cube of numbers. Yeah, that is 1 raised to power 3. If you do 2 raised to power 3, if you do 3 raised to power 3, if you do 4 raised to power 3, and if you do 5 raised to power 3, they are just telling you about cube numbers. Any question here? They're just telling us about cube numbers. Now, 1 raised to power 3 will give us 1. 2 raised to power 3 is 8. Please don't go and do 2 raised to the power of 3 as 2 times 3. No, it's wrong. So when you are doing 2 raised to the power of 3, it simply means you are repeating 2 in 3 places. That is 2 times 2 times 2, which will give us 8. If you do the same thing 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 in 3 places, you get 27. If you do 4 raised to the power 3, 4 times 12.4. These are the little mistakes that some students will make, and I don't want you to make that mistakes. Now, the next question, they're not asking you what is the 10th term. If you look at this now, 10th term simply means 10 raised to the power of 3. Because since they are all cube numbers, just do 10 raised to the power 3 because 10 term. So we're going to have 10 times 10 times 10. And that will give us what? 1,000. So what we are supposed to have here now is what? 1,000. Any question, please? All right. Let's look at this one. We are given 5, 8, 13. So we are given 5, 8, 13. Let me erase this so that I'll write it in a good way. So we have 5, 8, 13, 20, 29. Now, if you want to find the answer, let's take the difference and see first. The difference here is plus 3. That is 8 minus 5. 13 minus 8. 20 minus 13. All the difference here are what? I think when you look at this, the first one is plus 5. This one here is plus 5. So you need to take the difference, please. So here is plus 5. When you check the next number is plus 7. Say the next number is going to be plus 9. Yeah, plus 9. So these are the difference. So you take the difference, which is plus 9. Now, if you look at the difference, they are not the same. So let's take another second difference. The second difference we're going to take now is going to be this, and this is 2, 2, 2. The current difference is 60 now. And since we do it twice like this, that means it's a quadratic. That means it's a quadratic. So we can say, okay, it's a quadratic sequence. Because if it is a linear sequence, when you take the first difference, it will give you the same number, like this last one here. But this is a quadratic sequence because it's twice there. So in a quadratic sequence, I can say this is a quadratic sequence. And if you want to get the end term of a quadratic sequence, let me give you a formula. And this is what I have been using for many years, and my students are getting it perfectly. So the formula for that is this, which is going to be an squared plus bn plus it with what? C. Now, there are formulas that we can. How do we find A? These are the things we need to get. How do we find A? How do we find B? How do we find the C? If we can get all these things perfectly, then we'll substitute here. That is the end. I need to tell you how to find your A. Now, how do we find A is this. I'm going to explain this. Now, for us to find A, you use the second difference and divide it by 2. It has a formula. So for us to find A, do second difference divided by 2. And what is the second difference here? Second difference here is 2. Okay, the second difference, what is the answer we have here is 2. If you look at it, this is second difference. This one is first difference. So second difference is 2. So it will be 2 divided by 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we have gotten the A, the first term. There's another thing we need to get as well, which is what? For us to get B. Now, for us to get B, there's a formula we can use, which is going to be this. You can use 3A. The formula is 3A plus B equals to 3. How come of this 3? The 3 is this first difference we have here. The first value of this first difference. That is how come of this 3 then. But the formula for us to use to get that is what? 3A plus B equals to the first difference. The first number, which is plus 3, that is what you put there. We already know our A, so which is going to be 3 times 1 plus B equals to 3. So if you make A the subject here now, if you make a B, the subject, you're going to have B is equals to 3 minus 3, and B is equal to 0. So we've gotten that now. So if I want to get C, finally, let me get C. C is going to be A plus B plus C. This is the formula. And A plus B plus C is equal to 5. Why 5? Because you use the first term, the first value here. That is that 5. So this is how you get them. So from here, you already know your A, which is what? My A is 1. Your B is 0 plus your C, which is equal to 5. So our C now will be equal to 5 minus 1. So 5 minus 1 now is equal to what? C is equal to 4. So we are going to substitute that into our formula. A is what? So if we substitute that, A is 1. So it will be 1 square plus B is what? B is 0. 0n plus it with C. And C is 4. So indirectly now, our answer we can write down here is what now? Is n squared plus 4. So whenever you are dealing with quadratic, please know this. Know these 3 formulas. This is one of the formula to get A. Another one to get B is the formula. And the last one to get C is the formula. When you know these 3 things, whenever it is quadratic, know these 3 formulas and you'll be able to get the answer. Is that taken now? So know this first formula says second difference divided by 2. Second formula says 3A plus B equals to this 3. The 3 is what? The first difference. Always the first difference. Then if you want to get the C, A plus B plus C equals to 5. The 5 there is the first term of the sequence there, which is the 5. So it can be another number for you, depending on what you are looking for. Any question, please? Can you see hear me, sir? Okay. Now,
Yes.
the next question there is this. The sum of the first n terms of another sequence is this. Now use n equals 2 to find the sum of this, the first two terms of it. So first two terms, this is very easy. This one is very easy. So n is 2 over 2, because this is the formula we're using. Then you open brackets, 5 bracket 2 minus 1. So that will be 1 bracket 10 minus 1. So that will be 10 minus 1 is what? Is 9 times 1 is 9. So our answer there is 9. Is that taken? So I want to say something here. For this guy here, is a little bit dicey. This guy here is a little bit dicey, and I want you to pay attention to this. Yeah, they say find the third term of the sequence. Third term of this sequence. Now, that is, if they are talking about the sum, and that means sum of this is what? Sn is equal to n over 2 brackets 2a plus it with n minus 1 close the bracket d. This is the sum. So from here, I'm going to write Sn is equal to n over 2 open brackets 2a plus nd minus d. I open the bracket here. N times d is nd. 1 times d is what? Minus d. So from here, you can now say equal to, I'm going to equate it to be equal to this one here. The equation given to me, which is n over 2 open bracket 5n minus 1. Now, the term here are the same here. This one can cancel out with this one. If you equate, this n will cancel out with this one here. Now, this is 5, please. Take note, this is 5. Now, if you equate n and n here will go out. That means our d is equals to 5. If I equate this guy and this one inside here, then there's another thing again. If you equate, the other one now will be 2a minus d is equal to minus 1. It will equate it with this one here, which is minus 1 here. So we already know our d, which is going to be 2a minus 5 equals to minus 1. So from here, I'm going to have 2a is equal to minus 1 plus 5. Minus 1 plus 5. So I'm going to have 2a is equal to 4. So divide this by 2 by 2. A now will be equals to 2 here. I've gotten my a and I've gotten my difference. So the question is we have to find the third term. So third term now is what? Third term is going to be a3. A3 is our third term, which is going to be, the formula is going to be a plus 2d. So if it's a plus 2d now, our a is what? 2 plus 2 bracket 5. So that will be 2 plus 10. And 2 plus 10 is what? 12. So the third term now is what? Is 12. How do we have a plus? You know, in an AP, and what is the formula for AP is what? The n term of an AP is what? Tn is equal to a plus what? N minus 1d. So what is this first term? If t is 2 down, the formula will be a plus d. If if n is 2, the formula will be a plus d. If this one is 3, it will be a plus 2d. That is why we use this formula to get what we have here. So that is how about that. If you have any question for me, ask now before we move on. Okay, so let's see how we can move on with another question.
Mathematics is more than numbers. It's the language of logic, problem solving, and precision. At Ajiro Tech Tutoring, we make math make sense. From algebra and geometry to statistics and calculus, vectors, and all. Our expert tutors bring clarity and confidence to every topic. We specialize in all major exam boards, AQA, Edexcel, and Cambridge International, helping students prepare effectively for their GCSE, IGCSE, and A-level exam. Each lesson is personalized, interactive, and focus on building understanding that lasts. And now, we're proud to be officially registered right here in England, UK, offering you trusted, high quality online tutoring that meets British educational standard. Because when students understand the why behind the numbers, success becomes inevitable. Begin your journey today at ajirotech.com or message our sales team info@ajirotech.com or ajirotech@gmail.com. Ajiro Tech Tutoring, where understanding leads to excellence.
Now this is question 6 here. Now question 6 here said that we have to expand this 5s squared open bracket 3s minus 2. Now if we expand, let's expand the bracket here. That means that this guy is going to multiply this. That will be 15s cubed, because s squared times s is what? S cubed. Minus 15s squared times this will give us 10s squared. So this will give us the answer to this. So this is as simple as ABCD. You don't need to do much work here at all. So what we have here is going to be 15s cubed minus 10s squared as our answer there. Any question there? So the next, now this, please take note, this is going to multiply with this one. Take note about that. So it's very simple. The first term times this one time. So you are just expanding the brackets. For instance, I have A open bracket B plus C. If you have it like this, you are going to have AB plus what now? AC. So that is why you have this. Any question, please? All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, we are asked to write this inequality. That is very simple. Now, this, let's start from this one. This is minus 1. That means at this point now, we were going to have negative 1.5. So we're starting from negative 1.5. We put less or equal to, because why is it less or equal to? Because this circle there is shaded. Then you can put your S. Okay, they use Y. So don't go and use S. So I'm going to remove this S now. I said we should write it in Y. Here is Y there. Then less or equal to, what value is there? I can't put less or equal to here. It has to just be less than. So this one will just give us 4. So this is how you write it down. These are, they are very simple. If you have it, why did I use less or equal to here? Because the circle here is shaded. So listen to this. In a situation, the circle is used, shaded circle is used whenever you are dealing with less or equal to or this sign. Then this empty circle is used whenever you are dealing with this sign. These two signs. That is what you use. So take notes about this. And I think that will be okay with that. So depending, even though it's less than or greater than, and it's just circle without shaded. That means if it is a circle without shaded, that means that particular point is not included. But if it is circle that is shaded, it means that particular point is included in your numbering. Any question, please? Does you have any question? Okay. So having said that, we can now continue with this question. Question 8 said that he buys a dishwasher. He can either pay a single payment for this, and there's now a single payment of this. Look at the statements. This is very, very important in dealing with this question. Now, it says he that uses the monthly plan calculate the total amount he that pays. So if I want to get the total amount that he that pays now, I'm going to get it like this. So amount now will be 20%, which is 20 over 100 off. That is times what now? $980. Then I say plus. There is a condition here, which is this plus. So you put plus. And I say 12 payments off. 12 payments off simply means 12 times 75.25. So this is how you do it that there. So what you just need to do, you multiply this together. So if you have your calculator there, let's press together 20 times it by 980. You multiply 20 times 980, then you now divide it by 100. That will give us this, which is 196. When you multiply 20 times this, divided by this to give us this. Add it plus 12 times it by 75.25. So if you multiply this one here, it will give us this, which is 905. So add it up. Add it up. 905 plus 196. So that will give us 1099. That is what I'll get. So when you add this one together, it gives it. So the total amount he that pays now is what? Is 1099. That is what we have. Very, very easy. Very, very easy. Now I want to say something about this. Let's go to the second question. Percentage increase. So in the case of percentage increase in the cost, using the monthly plan compared to a single payment. Now, find the percentage increase in the cost using the monthly plan compared to a single payment. Very simple. What you just need to do is this. Percentage increase simply means you do 1099 minus the original one. What is the original one is what? 980. Divide it by the what? The original one, which is 980, times it by what? 100 over 1. Now, it is this. If you want to get it, just do final minus the original. This is the final one minus the original divided by the original one times 100%. Simple. So from here, let's use our calculator with this now. If you do 1099 minus it from 980, if you minus it from 980, you're going to have 119. Please, not the 119 you know. So it's called 119. Thank you. So we're going to have divided by 980 times it by 100. So when you do 119 times it by 100, times it by 100 is going to give us this answer, which is 11900. You now divide it by 980. So if you do 11900 divided by 980, it will give you one of the beautiful answer, which is going to give us what? 12.14. Very easy. So what you give us this? So when you did this, now this is how it is to get the percentage increase in the cost using monthly plan compared to a single payment. Now the next question. The next question is this. That says in a sale, the original price of a sewing machine is reduced. Listen to this. Is reduced. There's a reduction. Is reduced by 38 what dollars. This is an 8% reduction in the original cost. This is an 8% of reduction in the original cost. So very easy. Now the 8% cost of this. Now what I'm asking us is this: work out the original price of the sewing machine. This is it. Work out the original price of the sewing machine. Very simple. What we'll do? 8%. Let's say, okay, the original price. Let me put it S. 8%, 8 over 100, times it by the original price, times it by the reduction, which is what? 38. 38 here. So what we have here, you're going to have 8S over what? 100 is equal to what? 38. So if you cross multiply here, you're going to have 8S is equal to 3800. That is 100 times 38 to give us this. Divide this by 8 by 8. This one we cancel this. So our S becomes what? 3,800. You are going to do 3,800 divided by 8. That will give us 475. That will give us, so the answer we're going to have here is going to be what? 475. So we have the cost of the original price of the sewing machine is what? $475. Are we there? All right. Can you hear me, please? All right. So let's look at the question 10. Let's look at the question 10. We are asked to write down all the factors of 18. Very simple. Yeah, if you don't know how to do this one, we will need to fight. But we're not going to fight again. Okay? So write down the factors. Now, factors are, now we have the first one factor is 1. 1 times 18. Second one, 2, 3, 6, 9, 18. Simple. These are the factors. Okay? These are the factors of 18. All these numbers you are seeing there can divide 18 without a remainder. Is that taken out? So you can do it as simple as A, B, C, D there.
A lot, and you're like, okay, do you have a private tuition? Don't you have? Do you have? And yes, Ajiro Tech do have a private tuition. So by my right, you can see that we have for the EdExcel and Cambridge IGCSE, and yes, we do have for all subjects. Okay, all subjects. Okay, the popular ones that's always been in demand is mathematics, English language as a second language. Okay, we have physics, we have biology, we have chemistry, and we have you know the flagship, which is ICT, just here and there. We also have business studies. So if you're interested for a private tuition, I think all you have to do is send an email to the sales team at ajirotech@gmail.com, and they would reply to you, talk about your time zone, talk about, and the fee is really quite affordable. Really, it's really quite affordable. It's when you look at it across other tutoring service, I think this is the one that's quite affordable, and you get the very best of service. We also have for the E levels as well, and also for the EdExcel. So we have for the Cambridge E levels and EdExcel E levels. Okay, and we have also across the subject mathematics, which is usually the hot cake when it comes to E level mathematics and chemistry, and then biology. These are usually one of the ones we have in demand always, all the time. Even physics, for E level. So all you have to do, if you're watching this right now and you are interested for a private tuition, then you can do yourself a solid, okay, and send an email to the sales team at ajiro@gmail.com, and they'll reply to you.
Now, the next question, we have to factorize this. Now, if we have to factorize this can be grouped. This can be grouped. What is common between 3y and minus sy? What is common there is y is common. So if I bring it out, I'm going to get something like this. 3y divided by y minus sy divided by y. The same thing, what is common between 15 and this is what the common factor is 5. So I'm going to have 15 divided by 5. Then I also have minus 5s divided by 5. So you are using the factor to divide them. Like this one is y. That is why I divide any of the element by this. So I'm going to have y brackets 3y divided by y will give us 3 minus s here. This one will cancel out, plus it with 5. Then I'm going to have 15 divided by 5 is what? 3 minus this we cancel the which is s. So from here, I can have it like this. Then y plus 5. What you have inside the bracket are the same. Pick one of it, which will give you this. So the factorized form of it is what? 3 minus s, y plus 5. Any question, please? Any question, please? Okay, so without any question, let's go to the B part. The B part is this. We are still giving the same question we have here. 3y minus sy plus 15 minus 5s equals to 15, where s and y are positive integers. Now, using your answer to part A and part B, find 1, possible value of s and the corresponding value of y. This is one of the easiest ways. So if I to do this now perfectly, now you can see we have already factorized this guy. And the factorized form is what? 3 minus s, then brackets y plus 5. I'm going to use, since it's a factor form, it says, look at this now. Use this part A and part B. We're using use your answer in part A and part B. Now, it's equal to 18. Now, what are the factors of 18? I can use 1 times 18. I'm using 1 and 18. That is why it says part A and part B. So in place of this 18, I'm using 1 and 18. Somebody can use another one, 2 and 9. Somebody can use 2 and 9. Somebody can use 3 and 16 and 6. So whatever you want to use is fine. So if I'm to do this, I'm going to equate now, which is 3 minus s equals to 1. Then I also have another one, or y, and let me put and instead of that there. And y plus 5 equals to 18. So these are the answers. So I have minus s is equals to 1 minus 3. So minus s is equals to minus 2. This will cancel out. So if this cancel out now, I'm going to get something like this, which is s is equals to 2. Do this one. So the y is equal to 18 minus 5. That is, carry this one here. The same thing we did here. I took 3 to this other side there, and that is why we have it. You know, it's positive 3 when it is going to be minus 3. So y is equal to 18 minus 5 now will give us 13. So we have the values of s here now is 2. We have 2 here, and the values of y here now is 13. Please, I use 1 and 18 from the factors I have up here. Somebody can use 2. You can use 2 and 9. It will still give you the same answer. You can use 3 and 6. It will still give you the same answer. Is that taken out? So please, I have tasks for you. You are going to try using 2 and 9 to see if you have the same answer. So whatever you have is going to be correct there. Is that okay? But what you are having, that says s and y are positive integers. So find one positive value of s and the corresponding value of y. So that is why we have this. Any question there? So you can try using other ones there yourself. So question 11. A warehouse has a floor area of this. The plan is this. So if you look at it, the plan of the warehouse is drawn to a scale of 1:50. Calculate the floor area on the plan. Give your answer in square centimeters. Simple. We know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. This is from our elementary. We know that 1 meter is equal. So if we take the area of it now, square area, 1 meter square is equal to 100 centimeters squared. So by the time we do that, you're going to have 1 meter squared. This one will give us 100 square centimeters squared. Yeah, this one will give us that. Now, if you look at it, it says the floor area is 800. So you can say, so we can say that 800 centimeters square. Are you there? 800 centimeters square will give us what now? In centimeter, 800 meters square, I mean, will give us how many in centimeters? That will give us 800 times it by 100 square centimeter square. So when you do this like this, now you are going to have something like this, which is 8 million, I think so. If you multiply here, yeah, it's 8 million centimeters square. So if you do 800 times 100 square, this is give us 8 million centimeters square. So from here, we are asked to draw it. There's a ratio. So the warehouse ratio is what? 1:50. So if we have 1:50 now, we take the area of it, which is square. Area of it is square, which is equals to 50 square. So that will give us 1 equals to 2,500. Yeah. So What we ask to calculate is the floor area. So you can now say floor area. Floor area is 8 million divided by 2500. Please do that. Let's see what you get. So 8 million divided by 2500, that will give us this answer. 3200 as our answer. So this is the area, the floor area on the plan. And it says give your answer in centimeters square. So that is why we have that there. Any question, please?
Mathematics is more than numbers. It's the language of logic, problem solving, and precision. At Ajiro Tech Tutoring, we make math make sense. From algebra and geometry to statistics and calculus, vectors, and all. Our expert tutors bring clarity and confidence to every topic. We specialize in all major exam boards, AQA, EdExcel, and Cambridge International, helping students prepare effectively for their GCSE, IGCSE, and A-level exam. Each lesson is personalized, interactive, and focused on building understanding that lasts. And now, we're proud to be officially registered right here in England, UK, offering you trusted, high quality online tutoring that meets British educational standard. Because when students understand the why behind the numbers, success becomes inevitable. Begin your journey today at ajirotech.com or message our sales team info@ajirotech.com or ajirotech@gmail.com. Ajiro Tech Tutoring, where understanding leads to excellence.
So let's go to question number 12. For question number 12 is this. I said the diagram shows triangle PQ, PQR. Calculate the shortest distance from Q to R. From this Q to R now is simple. So what we just need, where is the Q? This Q to R. So I'm going to trace something here. Now, if I trace that, it's going to form a right angle here. Yeah, it's going to form a right angle there. So, and if we form a right angle now, see, it's going to be something like this. Let me draw it out. I'll have it like this. Remember, here is P. Here is Q. Right, let me call this place as PQRS. Let me put S here. So this is the angle 90 that is here. When you have this angle 90 here, becomes the hypotenuse. This 12.5 cm. Then this angle is given here, which is 42. Here is going to be the opposite now. Here is going to be the hypotenuse. So the shortest distance now from Q to PR now, this is the shortest distance, which is here. So we use opposite over using SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Here is opposite, here is hypotenuse. Why is there the hypotenuse? Because it's facing the right angle. Whenever it's facing the right angle there, because of that right angle there, that is the hypotenuse there. So we have this now. So opposite over hypotenuse is what? Is sine. So we're going to have sine 42 degree. Opposite is going to be our SQ. That is, here is S now. SQ is our opposite. All over the hypotenuse, which is 12.5. So if you cross multiply SQ, so that will be 12.5 multiplied by sine 42 degree. So you are going to do sine 42. Sine 42 will give us this 12.5 times it by sine 42, which is equal to 0.6691. So from here, you multiply it by 12.5. So if you multiply it by 12.5, you are going to have 8.3641. Okay, so you can approximate it to give us approximately 8.36 is correct. So approximately you have 8.36, which is in centimeter. Please, do you have any question for me? So this is how you use this there. So depending on the triangle you are using, that's what we have then. Now question 13. So question 13 now is this. We are asked to make S the subject of the formula. And what is the S we are looking for? Look at where the S is. So let's carry this W to this place. So we're going to have A minus W squared is equal to 5S squared. And you know we're looking for S. You divide this out by 5 first, by 5. This one will cancel this. So we're going to have S squared is equal to A minus W squared all over 5. So your S is equal to, you're going to take the square root. So plus or minus, you introduce that. Square root of what? A minus W squared all over 5. So that is how we solve this. So this is the answer we have. S is equal to, you have plus or minus square root of A minus W squared all over 5. Now I want to say something here. You can as well use balance method if you want. Like it now. So if you are using balance method now and you want to remove this W from here, you can subtract W from both sides. Like the way I did question 1 with you, using balance method and alternative method. But what I've got here is also correct. So whatever you have, it can still give you the same answer and the same thing you have. Please, any question, please?